Tonight is February 10th, 2025. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5 o'clock p.m. And in attendance, we have the full board, Dan and Dina, and we also have a student here from UMass Boston. Welcome to the meeting. This meeting is following open meeting laws and is open to the general public. We will be performing an audio-only recording of the meeting. I asked at the beginning of this meeting, one of our board members has someplace else to be so that we could please keep our comments as short as possible and to the point this evening. That would be greatly appreciated. Do I have a motion to approve meeting minutes of 1/13/2025? Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Seconded.
Vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 3 yeses. We will now move on to the health agent's report. Mr. Kelly, is there anything you'd like to discuss before we vote on accepting the report?
Nothing to add at this time unless there's a question. We'll get a little bit into the Kratom a little bit further down.
The FinCom meeting, our meeting with FinCom weekly?
Yeah, FinCom meetings seem to go well. I would say better than the last couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was pretty short. Daniel and Tom were there. I think we were maybe 15 minutes, but it went fairly well. They're, I feel like, willing to maybe hear from us a little bit more. One of the big things is they actually have a fund for when we do any kind of public outreach or advertising for, say, Rabies Clinic, Sharps Day. We can get some reimbursement from them, which will help our expense account. It was first we heard of it, but
First time in all these years they've ever mentioned that, and they knew I had been paying out of pocket all these years for that. So that was very interesting, yes. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
that should be it.
Okay. Acceptance of the health agent's report and refund? Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Seconded.
Vote. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 3 yeses. We will now move on to the public health nurse's report. No public health nurse is present at this time. There were a lot of influenzas last month, so that's something people should be aware of. The best response for that is hand washing and distancing.
I think we should probably just publicly mention avian flu.
Oh yes,
super quickly.
avian flu. We had a big article in the paper about that. Avian flu, the best thing to do is not to touch any dead animals you find, especially birds at this point. Please call the numbers we have listed in the paper. If you're in doubt, you can call animal control, you can call the police department, or you can call us. We will give you the proper channels to follow. But important that you or your pets do not touch any dead birds. Avian flu is a serious, serious problem right now. If you're not sure of that, then look at the price of eggs and you will be very sure. Anything else? Okay. Acceptance of the public health nurse's report and refile. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 3 yeses. Do I have a motion to accept the licenses as issued?
Motion.
Yes. Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 3 yeses. We're moving on. Next. This time we'd like to begin discussion of internal Board of Health business. Our budget for 2026. Go on, you're looking at me.
Yeah, I mean, so essentially, obviously, I don't want to say it's set in stone. I do think at some point there's going to be an official override getting voted on. I don't expect them to come to us and say, oh, now that we're going for an override, put in for wants/needs. I think they'll probably still look at a lot of the smaller departments and look for level funded. Obviously, if they do come to me and say, hey, listen, we're going to have a little wiggle room. If you need something put in for it, then that is something we will talk about and absolutely do. But I don't expect that to be the case.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't expect we'll be asked, okay, where do you need money? Because I don't think it's going to happen. We were asked by FinCom. We did mention that we would be greatly interested in more community outreach and more community outreach programs. But I'd be surprised. I'd be very happy if that happened, but we'll see.
Danielle, I just want to comment on the meeting. I thought that Dan did a really good job of explaining not only what he does, but what he does above the call of duty, quite frankly. And I think they didn't realize that he had done a lot of things. And you, on the other hand, also said how much money you had put into our department on your own without reimbursement. So I think they got the message that people care on this committee. And I hope it works. I hope.
Tom,
Yes,
thank you, but it's not news to them. They hear it every year.
that's all right. First time
They
I
act
heard it.
like, I know, but they act like they've never heard it. They hear it every year.
There's quite a few new members on
There
there,
are
so
new members
hopefully.
there. Yeah, there are new members, but it's not news to them. But yes, and you know what? I'm not so concerned about the money I put in. It's my concern is getting Dan properly reimbursed
Right,
for his work here, and properly,
I do.
that was my main focus, and that's why I go.
I'm sure.
So, but thank you. I appreciate the
That's all right.
I do. Kratom. Let's discuss Kratom and possible regulation.
Yes. So in front of you is essentially a draft. I will say this is what was the final scope of what Lowell voted on and passed unanimously with their board. So essentially we borrowed their language, changed it to read for the town of Whitman. And what I would suggest, and I don't know, it's really up to you guys. I don't know that we need an official vote. Maybe it would be smart to do one. Basically vote to pass this off to town council. If it looks good to the three of you, let town council review it. I will say, hopefully it would come back before next month's meeting, but I'm not sure. So I think we should wait until we actually have it back in our hands. Town council says, yes, this is all legal and binding. You could pass this and have no blowback, and then set a public hearing date. I'm just afraid if tonight you guys say, yep, I like this, let's have town council look at it, as long as it's good public hearing. I don't want to set a public hearing and then town council come back with a few fixes that they want to see, saying, hey, listen, instead of it reading like this, it needs to read like this because the town of Whitman has this bylaw. So that would be my suggestion is, if you guys like this, let's get it to town council's hands. I'll do that tomorrow. And then as soon as I have it back, I'll share that information with the three of you. And then at our next meeting, as long as we have it back, we could then set a public hearing. So any tobacco realtors or anyone in town could come and speak for or against the reg.
I have two comments. Number one, do you know what Kratom is?
No.
Okay. Here, you can have my little fact sheet right here.
I've got one here. She can have.
Or Dina has one that you can have. It is being sold at certain places in town, and so we as a board, we cannot prevent the use of it, but we can prevent the sale of it. So we're up for discussion about whether we're going to prevent the sale of it. Right now, it's being sold legally, and it's legal in the state. It's been up for the state legislature, has had it on their docket a few times. It's on their docket again, but they haven't banned the sale or use of it. Second one, was anybody invited to our meeting tonight?
It was mentioned.
Okay, so the people who put this forth were invited to the meeting, knew about the meeting, and chose not to come tonight. Okay, so yeah, there's that. My idea with this is nobody has time to read the draft right now. I suggest that if we do this, we vote on a yes, in that will you give us till Monday to read it?
Yeah, that could be
What day
fine.
is today, Monday?
Today's Monday, so till
So you
next
give us till
Monday.
next Monday to read it, to say yes or no to you by email,
That's fine with me.
and if you get a quorum by email,
Yep. Technically, I mean, I don't need a vote to submit it to town council. So if the three of you read it and just email me, looks good, let's send it to town council. Once I have all three, I'll send it
That
off to
sounds
town
good.
council, and then hopefully we'll have it back by next meeting. And then once we have it back and it's all approved,
but I'd like a vote that everybody's in agreement with that.
yeah, I think we should wait until we have it back from town. Oh, yes,
For you
Yep.
to-
absolutely.
So is everybody, do I have agreement that we're all gonna read it and let Dan know by email next Monday that we're in agreement with him going forward to town council with what's in front of us.
Can I just ask you a question? I don't anticipate this, but let's say one person votes against it and two vote for it. Should we have another discussion as a committee so that we could wrangle out what we have, so at least we'd be unanimous in our recommendation?
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, again, like Tom said, I don't know. It's up to the board how they want to vote. If the board ends up after they hear this and then we have a public hearing, 'cause I think that's when you would end up being maybe swayed in either direction. That's up for each individual board member.
I'd say if we have two, at least two that say yes,
It's, I think, more so
to
if,
go to town council and get the wording right, so
Yeah.
we could at least get that far.
yeah,
And
I
get
agree.
correct wording, and then we're gonna come back, we're gonna have another meeting before we have a public hearing.
Yep, I
Yep.
agree.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
The fines, how are those determined?
So a lot of that they're very similar to the tobacco fines. So I think that's why they use those numbers. So
We'll determine the fines, right?
yeah, right now there's numbers in there. So read through them if you feel like, and of course, Lowell's a city, we're a town. If we want to maybe reduce them slightly or significantly. Yeah, I mean, I will say, Jamie, we have fined for tobacco in the past, and those numbers aren't outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think if we're gonna ban something, we should do it and follow,
Do what we say.
do what we say. Yeah, I don't think, if we do a $50 fine or whatever, it's, what's the point?
Fair.
So right now, our fines are, for your knowledge, the fines we have listed in our proposals, $1,000 for the first offense, $2,000 for the second offense, $5,000 for the third offense, and then it's gonna, we're gonna have more issues after that.
5,000 again.
We could possibly shut down the business and such from that point on. So, we're talking some hefty fines if we go forward with this. So are we in agreement that, I recommend that, we have a vote to, review the document, draft one for Kratom, by Monday, the,
20th.
17th.
17th.
Oh,
Yep.
17.
If Dan gets a quorum, he will send it to council, an email quorum. He'll send it to council for verbiage and approval from council. If Dan does not get a quorum, he will not. We'll wait to hear with council with a note saying that our next step will be
Schedule a public hearing.
schedule a public hearing. There will possibly be another Board of Health meeting in between that.
Yes.
That does not preclude another.
I would say we should just have one in between no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then schedule a public hearing,
Yep.
because we're gonna have to well advertise that.
Yes.
And then go from there. And this is not a public vote. This is our decision. It's a public hearing to hear what people say.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I don't advise we do how Lowell did it. They let their public
no.
in favor and non-favor, and then they voted, which there's
And
the
we
public.
don't have to take a vote in front of the public.
Correct.
We
You could
can
clear the
dismiss
room if you
public,
wanted
and,
to.
I mean, we have an open, we can't close the
Yeah.
doors.
Yep.
But we can say we're gonna vote at our next meeting or whatever.
Yeah. Take into consideration
Right,
and
we're
vote
gonna
at the
take
next
everybody's
meeting.
thoughts into consideration and vote at another time.
Yep.
So if it gets crazy, I don't think it's gonna be crazy.
I don't suspect it will. I will say one of the stores I was in that had it when I reviewed the product, and I was able to go like this and get some dust off a bag. So
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's flying off
It's a
the
big
shelf.
seller, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so are we in agreement of that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do you kind of have what I have, Dina?
Yeah.
You guys can work it out. Like,
Yeah, we can listen to the playback. Yeah.
Okay, second
Second,
vote,
Yes.
yes.
3 yeses. All right, Kratom vote. Kratom verbiage vote. Okay. Is there anything further anybody would like to discuss at this time? Any old business we'd like to discuss? Any comments from the gallery? Okay. At this time, we need to schedule our next meeting. The proposal on my sheet here says Monday, March 10th at 5:30. Calendar. Works for me. Anybody,
wanna
is
do
that
it?
okay?
5:30 or 5?
5:30?
Either one's fine.
We can do whatever you want.
I just had a thing today.
Huh?
I just had a thing today, but yeah, either one's fine.
5:30 okay with everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
So date again, March 10th?
10th.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. If there's nothing further to discuss at this time, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
3 yeses. We are adjourned